is 8 o'clock on the morning of the kickoff of the Euros. The Mad Euros. I am thinking I don't say damn. Euros are here, ladies and gentlemen. I am so gassed.
Oh, this is so exciting, Sam.
As I said, this is mad for the Euros. We've been waiting a long time for this to kick off. But what we're going to do with this show here is we're going to outline some of the players who we believe are going to use this tournament as a breakthrough moment in their careers. Some you may know a little bit about, some you may not know anything about. But the whole purpose of this is these are players we believe are going to use this tournament to become household names. We may be right, we may be wrong, but either way, we have that belief. Gav, how are you doing, buddy?
Man, honestly, I have not slept a wink. I'm so damn excited. It is unreal. I hope my gaffer doesn't see this.
Well, he should do. Otherwise,
he can tune in afterwards.
He should be supporting the thing, you know.
He doesn't really do much social media, bless him.
Well, if he did, what he'd have to do is support us by following these pages right here at MAD Sportsnet, at GavMac23, at DevoLDN, and of course, subscribe to the YouTube and the Facebook page as well with Mad Sports Network. That's all you have to do. Go to the search bar, Mad Sports Network comes up first. Click subscribe. Also hit the notification bell because we are going to have tons of content coming up throughout the Euros and beyond. So shall we kick this off, Gav?
Let's do it.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go player by player, and we should have 10 players in total. 5 Gav has chosen and 5 that I have chosen. And these players, are, as I said before, are young players. So we've gone with players 25 and under who we believe are going to use this to become household names. So let's start with this gentleman here. So
I worried for a second. I worried for a second. The reason why I worried is because I had to double check one of our players, and he's definitely 25. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Sorry, as you were.
So this is Mikkel Damsgaard from Sampdoria, who is Danish, and I've picked this gentleman because he's a baller. To be fair, I've seen him quite a few times for Sampdoria this past season. Tricky winger, has an eye for a goal. And I think this is going to be his breakthrough moment. If anyone's seen any of the previous shows we've done, I'm quite high on Denmark in this tournament. I think they have a great squad. Could surprise a lot of people. I think he is one of the other flair players. They have Eriksson. They don't have much other flair. Skov, and then this guy. So I think he could be a breakthrough candidate. On his debut for Denmark, which wasn't too long ago, I think it was November, he made his debut for Denmark. I think he's only 21. Played really well. Second game, got 2 assists and a goal in an 8-0 thrashing of Moldova. So he got, he knows how to make an impression. Gav, have you seen much of Mikkel Damsgaard?
If I'm honest, I've only ever seen him at international level, and I'm so glad you mentioned that Moldova game because he balled out. He really did. And people go, "Oh yeah, but it's only Moldova." But he can only play against the opposition that's there, innit?
Yeah,
and
man.
he looked comfortable at international level, and for such a young lad, that's what you want, isn't it? We talk about like England and like, oh, this player, they might be a bit too young to blood and things like that. Well, that was a perfect opportunity for him to get his opportunity, and he bossed it. So
people will say, oh yeah, it's only Moldova, but how many times have we seen, I'll use England as an example, how many times have we seen England play against a lesser side and scrape a 2-0 win? England played against San Marino, no one put in a performance like that.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
I hear that.
Fair enough.
Who we got next?
Let's have a look. I'm going to scroll down here. Let's go to this one. This is one of your picks here.
Oh, we're going to do one by one?
Yeah, why not?
That's all right.
That's one of your picks.
This guy here, I'll be honest with you, this kit bangs.
Yeah, it does.
I actually have this kit as well. This is Jeremy Doku. He is a 19-year-old winger. So we talk about wingers, and if you want to talk about wingers that ball, this one here. He is unreal. He's got pace. It's so electric. He only made his debut last year as well. He's, as I said, he's only 19. He's one of those sort of players that he could lob out on the left wing and he could cut inside to use his right peg as well. and he was snapped up from Anderlecht at a very young age, and it was like, right, okay, let's see how you could do in France. I pretty much guarantee within the next 2 seasons maximum, he will be playing for a top club. Whether if he stays in France, he'll be playing for Monaco or for PSG, guaranteed. And if he comes to the Premier League, he'll be playing for what is regarded as a Big Six club, 1,000,000%. He can start a game, or you could bring him on with like 15 minutes to go. If you were a left back, even if you were in your mid-20s and you're a left back and he was coming on, double up on him.
You wouldn't fancy it.
No,
you wouldn't fancy it. I think that he could be a key super sub for Belgium. You know, I think he's someone who, as you said, last 15, 20 minutes, tired legs. You see this guy coming on, you're not going to fancy that at all.
No.
At all. And as far as him moving, yeah, I could see him perfect fit for like a Leicester, you know, in the Premier League, a side that are improving and have a brilliant scouting network. I could see Leicester signing him and him becoming a household name in the Premier League. But yeah, I saw him quite a bit at Rennes last season. And, you know, as the season got, you know, grew, he grew with it. You know, at first he kind of, it's a big move from Anderlecht at a young age, kind of got the better of him, but you can see his confidence grow, and his performances just were better and better and better towards the end of the season. He was a nightmare. Yeah, I think that's a great shout. That's a great shout. He was actually on my list as well. So that's a great shout. Right, who shall we go to next? Let's go to someone who, if you've watched the Bundesliga show at all, which you should, because it's a brilliant bloody show, you would have seen me waxing about this guy a few times throughout the season. And that's Xaver Schlager, the Austrian midfielder who is all action. If you want an all action midfielder, this guy is basically the Jean-Claude Van Damme of midfielders.
So good.
He does it all. He's bloody everywhere. That's something that Austria have in abundance. You know, you have Schlager, you have Leimer, who I think is brilliant for Leipzig, and Alaba can get around the pitch. But, you know, this guy's got an engine. And he's also got an eye for a pass. He's not just a bully. He's got an eye for a pass. He gets forward well. I think it's only a matter of time before he gets a big move, probably to Bayern, because that's generally what they do. But yeah, I rate this guy very highly. Gav?
You just putting words in my mouth and taking them straight out. You know, at the end of the day, the Bundesliga show is me, you, and Flo. You know what I mean? And a little bit of Toby Gillies every now and then. Big up to yourself, Toby, by the way.
Big up Toby every time.
And yeah, he's someone who covers a lot of ground and is happy to put his foot in on tackles, but his timing is fantastic. Do you know what I mean? He's not one of those sort of like, I'm just going to rashly like put in a tackle and nothing comes of it or whatever. Like he goes into every pass, every tackle, every run with purpose.
Yeah,
and that's why I like him. Big shout.
And another thing as well is he's got stamina for days. You know, I can't remember which match it was, who they were playing, but it was like the 95th minute or something, and he's breaking up like well, it's not even attacks because they had it in defense, but he's pressing high up the pitch, wins the ball back, and he's had a shot hit the side net, and I thought it'd gone in, but he doesn't stop. It's like if you was to play the game for, you know, probably like three 90 minutes worth of football, he'd still be going. No, 210th minute. You know, he'd still be running out. Everyone else would be knackered. He'd still be going. Yeah, I think he's a brilliant midfielder. That's the kind of midfielder I like. You know what I mean? I like that. He can do a bit of everything. As much as I like my Fabregases and those kind of silky vision guys, I also like those guys that get around the pitch a bit.
Yeah, I like
energy. Give me the energy. Heartless Crew back in the day. Love a bit of that. July 18th, Raver Tots. Oi, oi.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Mate, each day's a countdown to that. Right, who should we go to next? Let's have a look at that. Let's stay in Austria, shall we? And let's have a look at this guy here.
My boy, Sasa Kalajdzic. sticking with the Bundesliga loving. But anyone who doesn't like the Bundesliga, just saying it right now. This guy is a big boy. Lob a ball into him and he'll let it down. And I thought it was just a header merchant until midway through last season. The ball started getting pinged into his feet and he just literally stuck to him like glue. And then he reminds me of Peter Crouch. Because people think of Peter Crouch as, oh yeah, 6'7", just lob a ball into him. Peter Crouch is so technically gifted with the ball at his feet, and this is Sasa Kalajdzic. And once again, when you say about big moves and stuff, he's got every right to go make a big move. He scored 17 goals in the league this season. 16 goals in the league this season. He also bagged 6 assists as well. So that is
he didn't start at the beginning of the season.
No, he didn't. Exactly. So he's come on late. He's featured in 33 games this season, and so it's only one game he missed, and he contributes a hell of a lot. So this is a guy I've actually advised one of my friends to pick him in his fantasy team, because looking at that group, just lob balls into him. It will stick to him. He'll get assists. He'll get goals. He's a fantastic footballer.
I've actually got him in my fantasy team.
Rate that.
But the thing is with him as well, he's big, and Crouch was big, and everyone used to say, "Oh, you just lob the ball up to him." But Crouch, he couldn't head the ball. This fella can head the ball. He can really. He scored a goal towards the end of last season where he's head the ball from near the edge of the box and looped it over the keeper. Brilliant finish. But also, as you said, with his feet, one touch layoff, flicks around the corner. He's a tricky customer, and I think he could have a great tournament. When you look at that group, he could really tuck some goals in the group stage, and I expect them to get out of that group as well. I think the 2 players we've just mentioned will be key to them getting out of the group as well. Great pick there for Gav. Right now, I'm going to pick a fella here whose name I probably can't pronounce. So Josko Gvardiol. Gvardiol. Yeah, I think that's it. He's a Croatian centre-back who's recently had a move to RB Leipzig to replace Upamecano or Konate, whichever one you prefer. He was actually signed before they were both sold, so they had that in mind. Comes with a massive reputation at Dynamo Zagreb, and we know Dynamo Zagreb have a very good history of bringing through players. Luka Modric, for one. Dani Olmo was there for a bit.
Slaven
Bilic. There's countless. Most of the Croatian legends probably come through Dynamo
Robert Prosinecki.
Oh, Robert Prosinecki. What a player.
Davor Suka. Eduardo.
Yeah, don't talk to me about Eduardo. Upsets me. Upsets me every time. Damn you, Martin Taylor. So Gvardiol is the latest of the conveyor belt of talent coming through Dynamo Zagreb. Got his move to Leipzig. So technically, this isn't a Bundesliga bias thing because he's not even played in the Bundesliga yet. But I've not seen him play, but I've read a lot about him, and I believe that when you look at like Lovren is getting on, Vida's getting on, this could be a breakthrough moment for him if he gets game time. This could be him cementing his place in the centre back for Croatia for a very long time. I think he's only 19, and he's already got the big money move to Leipzig. So I think this could be his tournament to really say, you know what, I am Croatia's centre back from now on. Pin your hopes on me.
I have seen a little bit of him, and this is a perfect move for him, because look at the way the centre halves play at Leipzig. They're calm, they're astute, they need to be because of how swashbuckling they like to play. They're Leipzig. You will never be bored watching a Leipzig game. So therefore, defensively, you have to make sure you got your stuff on point. And this guy is no nonsense with a bit of defense, with a bit of flair. Like if you were to decide, right, I'm gonna change my process and I'm gonna play him further forward in like a defensive midfield role, a front of a back four. He could do that because he's that comfortable and cool with the ball. So, yeah, brilliant signing for Leipzig. And yeah, looking forward to seeing him week in, week out. And we can talk about him week in, week out on the Bundesliga show.
Yeah, and let's hope he don't let us down.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's go from Croatia to the Netherlands.
Nederland, yes. So Ryan Gravenberch, he is a very young man. He's only 19. We're talking about, he's only just turned 19 as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about, I like to mention England quite a bit because there's going to be a majority of our fans that are watching the show and things like that are going to be of an English background. And there's all this talk about Jude Bellingham.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to talk about Jude Bellingham, why don't we talk about the Dutch version of him? And that is Ryan Gravenberch. There you go.
Yeah, I've seen a bit of Ryan Gravenberch. Obviously, Ajax being in the Champions League and whatnot, he had some very good performances in that competition. And I was just talking about conveyor belts of talent. Is there a bigger conveyor belt of talent than Ajax? You break through in that team. He's won the title already. He's played a pivotal role in quite a few of their games. It's only a matter of time before he leaves Ajax to bigger and better things as well. And it's just endless talent coming out of that academy. And for someone so young, he looks like he's 28. He's unfazed. He kind of bosses the midfield, strolls around it, much like Bellingham. Strolls around the midfield as if like, I've been here for years. It's fine. It's all right.
The thing with Bellingham as well, not Bellingham, with Gravenberch is his agent is Mino Raiola.
Oh no!
So he will never sign for Man United until things change there. But Mino doesn't. People will cuss about Mino Raiola and whatever, but he doesn't pick up bad players. He picks up solid players that are financially viable to him, frankly. And Gravenberch, he'll have a nice little price tag on his head already.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's been looked at by anybody, I'll be honest with you, but it won't be long until he is. And I feel that he will start games in the Euros this summer.
Yeah. Well, I think you got Gini Wijnaldum is a shoe-in. Frankie de Jong is a shoe-in. That third position is up for grabs, I think. It could very well go to him.
Especially with Donny van der Beek being injured as well. This guy only made his debut earlier on this year and he's played in every single game so far. So that tells me that he is ready. He's ready to make a move. Yeah.
Well, let's see. And hopefully, again, another thing with Netherlands, they're in a group that is not the most difficult. So, maybe he could do some damage in the group stage. Right, let's go. I'm going to leave the young striker to last because I haven't spoken about any strikers yet. So I'm going to continue in Holland. You were in Holland. I'm going to stick with another Dutchman who could rival Gravenberch for a place in the midfield. A much more defensive midfielder here can also play at centre back. Turin Koopmeiners, AZ Alkmaar captain. He's 23.
He's the skipper there.
He's a skipper. He's been the skipper for a while, I believe. He's Mr. AZ Alkmaar. He's a leader, comfortable on the ball as you'd expect from any Dutch player. Kind of just a solid defensive midfielder, but not in the ilk of like a destroyer. Just kind of a steady hand, wins the ball back, can recycle it, but recycle it dangerously. Not just win it back and give it to someone who can play. Do you know what I mean? I can play. I can win it back and I can play as well. Like a deep lying playmaker, but can put his foot in. He's a big lad, 6 foot plus. You can look at the size of his hands. You can tell he's a big lad.
Well, that doesn't mean anything. I've got giant hands and giant feet, and I'm not a very big man. So that
you just shot me down there.
Don't believe the hype. But no, this guy is
don't
tall.
Believe the hype.
Oh, big chin. Yeah, got it. Public enemy.
But yeah, I expect big things for him. I think he might be one of those guys that sticks with his club for a while before he moves on. Just a feeling I have, but he could improve many teams. I think if he gets the minutes in this tournament, which I expect he will, maybe not against the likes of North Macedonia and stuff like that, but I think when they get to the knockout stages, then they need someone to really just shore up things and allow the likes of Frankie de Jong and Gini Wijnaldum to move forward. He could be the man they look to just shore things up in that midfield.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. I don't know much about him, so I can't really comment, if I'm honest. So I'll take your word on it, and I'll look forward to seeing him make a big move in the next 18 months.
Right. Shall we go on to your next one? Let's stick with this guy. Let's go with Moranchuk.
Go with Rushki. Yeah, Alexei Moranchuk.
I like him.
Mate. If you watch Italian football, you will know about this man. He featured more often than not for Atalanta, and we all know what Atalanta are doing and what they're about at the moment, and they need players that are fluid. And if you're not fluid, you will not get into the Atalanta side. So this is the guy. He could play in behind. He could play wide left. He could play wide right. He can play up top, but there's no point of playing there because of the wealth of talent that they've already got. So stick to your strengths, and he's just a floater who could play along that whole lot. If you're playing a 4-2-3-1, just in that three, just floating about, very comfortable on the ball, left foot, and I love left-footed players because I'm left-footed myself. But yeah, he was just doing bits in Russia, just chilling, and he was picked up the beginning of the season that we've just had from Lokomotiv Moscow. I'm a giant fan of him, really am.
Yeah. I saw quite a bit of him at Lokomotiv when he was playing in Europe and stuff, and he was always the guy that looked most dangerous on the pitch whenever they played. Since moved to Atalanta, and I've seen a few bits of him at Atalanta. He's a rangy player. He's another tall player, very technically astute, scores goals, and I think Russia will really lean on him, to achieve anything, really. It's not the best Russian squad we've ever seen, and I think he will be one of the players to make a difference for them.
Yeah, it's not the best Russian side we have seen. You're right, but they still have the likes of Cheryshev, and they still have the likes of Golovkin, and with those two, me too, mate, me too. And with those two and Moranchuk supporting Shubsha, that could. It could be beneficial to them. So just make sure that everyone's on their A game, keep everyone fit. There's a couple of games that are being played in Russia as well, so that could pose home advantage for them. So I like the look of Moranchuk, and let's see what happens with him.
All right, my last pick, I've gone for this lad. Not seen him play ever, but I've read about him, and your boy Flo mentioned him. Adam Holshek, whatever. Yeah. This kid was a top goal scorer in Czech Republic last season. He's 18. He scored 10 goals in his last 6 games of the season. Unbelievable. A kid of 18 to do that, and I don't care what league you're in. At 18, you shouldn't be doing things like that. It's only a matter of time before he gets a move. And obviously with Patrick Schick ahead of him in the pecking order, he might not start games, but I imagine he'll come off the bench and he'll be confident. Sparta Prague are not a small club. That's a big club, and that's probably the biggest club in Czech Republic. He'll be playing European football next season. I believe Sparta Prague finished second. Slavia Prague were undefeated, but we don't like Slavia, so let's talk about Sparta. And I think this kid, it's only a matter of time before he gets a move. And as I said, he could be a danger man in England's group. They'll need to make assurances for him if he comes off the bench, and he sees the likes of Connor Cody or Tyrone Mings. He could have a field day.
Man, I've only seen glimpses of this kid, but the kid is flames. He reminds me of a young Michael Owen. And if you are old enough to remember Michael Owen, then as in properly, not what we see on telly nowadays when he's commentating stuff. So when the random stuff he comes out with, we're talking about the young striker that lit up not just Liverpool, lit up the world. Ballon d'Or winning Michael Owen. This year, I'm not saying it's a regen, but he's a young lad who has the potential to go on to very, very big things. I could see him making a move to a, you know, like a second tier European place, maybe like a Portugal, like a Portuguese league or something, and then going on to a big power move. That's what I see.
Yeah. Okay, so our last but not least, and this is someone who I also chose in my top 10, but Gav got there before me, and that is
in there.
Alessandro Bastoni.
Snuck in there right at the last minute, literally like an 89th minute header. Bastoni, mate, I don't understand why people don't talk about him often enough. When we're talking about, and I'll tell you what, I'm guilty of it as well. I'm guilty of it as well because I watch Serie A, but I'm a casual Serie A fan. And because Serie A isn't the same as it was in the 90s, and when it comes to Italian football, I only watch Serie C now because that's where my team play in Palermo, and everyone knows that I'm a Palermo fan. But this boy, he's a boy to me, innit? Because I'm 34 this year, and he's 22. He's just turned 22 this year. He is a very tall man to me, anyway. Like he's like he's about 6'3", 6'4". He reminds me of. Do you remember Nesta Sensini?
Yeah.
I have remnants of him, not in terms of size, but just of like his composure on the ball. And the thing is, Inter play a back three. I feel that Italy are going to play a back three as well. For the talent that they have, they're going to play a back three. And I just feel, because if you look at their fullbacks are actually wing backs. So it'd be stupid to play like Florenzi and Emerson as fullbacks in a back four. It'd just be stupid. And then you've got Chiellini and Bonucci, who are definitely going to start. Those two are older. They're the wise heads. And then you'll have Bastoni sitting in between them, and he could bring the ball out and he can help play the ball and spread it a little bit. But defensively, he knows when to go and make the challenge. He knows when to sit back. He is he's almost like got eyes on the back of his head. He's got full awareness in and around him as to what's going on. And yeah, I'm a big fan of him. And look, Inter have just won the league.
Yeah, and he was a massive part of that as well.
He was key to it.
He scored some very important goals. Got quite a few assists for centre back, and he was. I've seen him a few times last season bombing forward beyond the wing back and just creating havoc. And you know, he's not the slowest, you know,
and he could do that either side as well, Devo.
Yeah.
So like if he needs to come out and squeeze on the right hand side and overlap, he could do that, and he could do that on the left as well.
Yeah.
So he's very very smart player.
I think he is going to take over from Bonucci and be the best ball playing defender in Italy. And I think he outperforms Skriniar and De Vrij, who are two, you know, decorated defenders in Serie A. I think he was Inter's best centre back last season at 22, which is relatively young for a centre back. And I think he's got a massive future ahead of him. And I think if Inter wish to continue finding success, they have to keep him at the club. Have to.
Yeah. Inter are getting depleted at the moment by the looks of it, with all the financing and stuff. So they'll be praying. They'll be absolutely praying that he stays on. But you know, at the end of the day, he hasn't got any ties to Inter. He came from Parma a couple of years back, and he came through the ranks at Atalanta. So it's not like a Maldini region. So,
but I do think he will be a massive part of the Italian national team for years to come. And a lot of people probably do know him, but I think people are really going to get to know him after this tournament.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Yeah.
I felt like I was, like when you see someone that you just don't feel when you talk about young defenders and stuff, even over here, and even the non-Bundesliga fans, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, Upamecano," and I know loads of fans didn't know anything about Kanate, and how many times we say in the early shows of the Bundesliga as well, it's like Kanate. And now everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I know about him." But watch, well, I'll tell you what, go back and watch some of our stuff. We would talk about him massively highly. But when they talk about young defenders, they'll talk about him. They'll talk about Kunde. They won't mention Bastoni. So I felt like it was important to put him in this list to be like, right, okay, people will be talking about him more.
He fully deserves to be on this list, as do all 10 of them. So that's it. We've gone through the 10 players we believe will use this tournament to break through and become household names, and would love to hear from you if there's anyone that we missed out. So let us know in the comments. Hit us up on Twitter. You've got our Twitter handles right there, at MadSportsNet, at GavMac23, at DevoLDN, and let's have a discussion. If we've missed out on any players who you believe should be on this list, let us know. Also subscribe to the channel. It's right there for you, www.youtube.com/madsportsnetwork. Hit the notification bell so you can keep up to date with everything that we have going on, and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your neighbors, tell the person in the park who you walk past and just socially distance. Say, hey, have you got YouTube? Subscribe to this channel. Tell people at work, tell people at the library, tell people at church, wherever. Just spread the word. If you're willing to spread. No, I'm not going to say that because I was about to get us shut down. God Squad were going to come for us. Right, we should probably end this show before I get us in trouble.
Have a good day, everybody, and come on the Euros.